one of my flexes is I scored 6 tries in that game.
Dude.
And I still like hold on to that to this very day. I always remind myself, man, I scored 6 tries.
Is that a 1C record?
It was the Ish. If you don't know what we're talking about, the Ish or the Royal Rumble. Yeah, I was undefeated GOAT.
Was he, guys?
Ask Aaron, ask Chris.
Stop.
Is this cap or?
This is cap.
Yeah, I thought
This
so.
is cap beyond the highest order of cap. For many of our Pasifika and Māori men as well, the impacts of having that expectation on them, right? After years and years and years, really weighs people down.
For the first time in my life, I went through a mental battle, in my own. Sorry.
No, you're good.
I went
You're
through,
good, brother.
for the first time in my life, I felt like I was like alone.
Welcome back to You Decide Podcast, episode
7.
Who knows? Who knows?
Who knows? We're getting lost here. As always, it's good to be here. This is the podcast where we love perspective, and as always, you decide. Joined by my co-host, Azza, aka Big Stack, Bo, aka Big Rack, and Jeff, aka Big Sack.
Big claps.
Big Dax.
Man, we got a cool show lined up for you. But first, let me throw it to our man behind the cameras, Matua Slips. What do we have up first?
So today's speed debate topic is on Guy Fawkes. On the 5th of November, there's Guy Fawkes, and the speed debate topic is, should Guy Fawkes be banned?
Ooh.
4, we have Aaron and Chris,
Or banning it.
Alright.
and against, we have Jeff and Bo. We're back to the old teams.
Yes. Back to the victorious teams.
Do we have to call it Guy Fawkes? Just call it Fireworks Day.
Fireworks day.
Fireworks, Guy Fawkes, call it whatever you like. All I'm saying is, it's a big waste of money.
Here we go.
Okay? I think that, and Aaron, you can talk more to this as well. I think that we can spend more money in better places, better time, you know, rather than trying to set things on fire. I'm sick and tired of trying to sleep at night, getting, my full 8.5 hours. And all I hear is people popping off fireworks. Like, what do you achieve from that?
Great question.
Think about how much money
Great question.
goes into those big shows that happen at Trust Stadium and Mount Smart. Hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars go into that. Just wasted.
Noise pollution.
Yeah, noise
It's just
pollution.
noise. That's all it is.
We're adults
And
here
then
now.
actual pollution.
all I
We
hear is
enjoy
that,
our sleep now.
all I hear from you guys is that you have no heart. What about the little children?
Oh,
What about the
Just-
kids that
your
enjoy
house must be
fireworks?
no fun. I want to say that now. Your house must be the boringest house.
Like, they're talking about money, right? You don't have to go out and buy
You didn't
fireworks
have-
if you can't afford it. You don't
You
have to.
You actually don't have to buy. Guy
But you gotta
Fawkes
think
or
about the
fireworks.
enjoyment of the little kids.
Can I ask a question? If we don't have to go and buy it, who's going to buy it for the kids? Because you have to be a certain age to purchase fireworks. This is what I'm saying.
Are you buying?
keeps-
Are you buying fireworks?
Every year, I have to.
You have to.
Yeah, for the kids.
You don't-
So
You don't buy
it
fireworks.
seems
Exactly,
like
Mark.
the kids are the problem here.
So just
So just blame it on the kids.
so instead of banning the fireworks, ban the kids.
Ban
That's a sick,
fun.
man.
For a matter of fact, ban fun.
Yeah.
Is it not enough though? So let's say, fireworks. Is it not enough to have this big show at Trust and take away every household being able to buy one through, on the streets, on the roads? Is it not enough for one big show?
I think that when I last checked, it cost what? How many? Something like 85 fires. House fires.
Were you
Gone.
putting out the fires?
Gone. Like that.
Where'd you get your stats from, bro?
I mean,
These
five-
For the pure entertainment and amusement and joy for the kids. Like, you don't have to buy it if your family think they don't need it.
Okay.
But for all the other kids that enjoy watching fireworks and enjoy partaking, the best part about it is lighting it and waiting for it to blow up. Okay, that's the
so
part.
what are you teaching
So when you're
kids?
talking about Trust Stadium and they have their big showcase, it's for free. People go watch, but it's part of actually
Entertainment.
and then getting the opportunity to hold it and then watching the
And shooting each other.
It's for free.
watching the cascade.
That thing is not for free. That
It is
is
for free.
paid for by every single household.
For the
all
enjoyment,
the hardworking people.
for
And
the
this is where you
enjoyment
want to put
of,
my money.
for the
this is where you
enjoyment
wanna
of the
put my taxes?
community.
Look, all I know, all I hear from you guys is that you guys don't like fun, and that's that's
and
okay.
that's fine.
Yeah, it's okay to
You
be
know,
boomers,
you know what I
alright?
see as a kid growing up and placing fireworks on the safe to blow it up and try and rob a bank. That's what I see.
Yeah.
Oh,
Ram
Oh.
raids.
And that's a big
so
problem
you
right
guys
now.
are thinking like
You're
worst
thinking
case scenarios.
You know the kids who do ram raids? They're probably going to fall fireworks.
you two are the same people that believe that playing violent video games is bad for your children.
Hey, that's a different talk.
But it's along the same lines, alright? You just don't like having fun.
Listen to this. All I'm going to say is, could that fireworks show not be spent, the money spent there, could that not have been put to something more useful for the community?
So should we ban toys and every...
Are there free toys for the whole community?
Uh,
Do they put on a massive
do
show where
kids-
give away?
Do kids want free toys? Yes. And we're able to go along to your community fireworks display, and actually see the community or the council put on a show.
With toys though,
Mm.
if that was a thing, with toys, you get 2-3 years out of it, whereas this
Mm.
fireworks is only
That's
20
done and
seconds.
gone.
Yeah,
20 seconds of
And
happiness.
anything
And
you
the
have
memory-
is your
we-
memory
we
of
spend
it.
millions
and the
of
memories
dollars,
last forever.
yeah. But see, going to a
20
fireworks
minutes.
show, that's an
the
experience. Having a toy, that's materialistic stuff. You know, that's just
It
there
breaks.
to buy you a little bit of happiness, and then
I think it teaches our young people to look after things.
It's the experience. It's the experience that you get to spend time with your family and watch a great display of art in the
that's
sky.
another point. It's art.
Stop right
like-
now.
It's what do they do every New Year's? It's a sign of celebration. It's
yeah.
a sign of something to be happy about. It symbolizes
Yeah, this is just like
joy.
this great year,
Community.
everyone. This is 20
Community.
seconds of your hard work.
Mm.
Enjoy this.
Here you go.
That's what you're saying.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
and
alright.
maybe for the whole year, you look forward to that one. You look forward to that 20 seconds, that one day
Stop it right
of 20 seconds.
Cut
for
it
those
out.
families who can
Cut it
afford
out.
it, look, they just want their.
Look,
young
All I want to
children
know
enjoy
is
it,
who
right?
stole your fun when you were a kid. Why are you so?
No, like we done fireworks every year, like all the time,
And
it
you
was
sound
great.
very
It
ungrateful
was great fun. I love
until you
fireworks.
started buying it.
It's also the price tag.
So really, it's just a money issue for
It's
you
a
guys.
money
This
thing.
is my last
man.
point of this. To me, Guy Fawkes or fireworks is one of the biggest scams. honestly, it reminds me of Korean barbecue. Where it's a big scam.
Wow.
In Korean barbecue, you're paying to cook your own
Tell
money.
him, tell
cook
him.
your own money. Cook your own food. It's like that. It's a big
Wow,
scam.
is it a
That's
scam?
It's
so-
getting you to
Is it-
spend money.
No, Aaron, it's the experience.
It's the experience.
Is it a
Yeah.
scam
Well, are they-
looking
Just
at
like
your
Korean
little
barbecue,
nephew?
just
you
like
buying-
Korean barbecue is an experience, right? You go in and you cook your own food. That's a.
Are you
that's a
buying?
scam.
But are you buying the fireworks to make the fireworks? That doesn't even make any sense.
What do you mean? It's
Yeah.
it's all for the experience,
Look,
right?
Is it a scam looking at your little niece or your little nephew smile on their face when they see that fireworks go up in the air?
Yeah,
The
and
artwork that's in the air.
It's the same as close down Rainbow's End, close down the Disneylands, close down all the experiences that don't last the whole day.
But that's the thing. You can go back to Rainbow's End,
yeah.
and you can keep going back.
And you can wait
Once
another
that
year.
firework is gone,
You wait another year.
Just go to Costco and bulk buy fireworks so it can last the whole year.
You can wait another year.
you know it's a scam when they only let you sell it for 3
You
days.
go to Rainbow's End every year.
Yeah, every weekend I get.
Stop. Final statement: if you don't enjoy fireworks and if you're against any fun at your household, then I feel sorry for all the kids.
My final statement. These two must be fun at parties.
But they don't want to do things for the kids.
They don't.
Listen. If the only way you have fun is going to see fireworks in the air, then you need to get out more. Okay? There's a whole world out there. More things to do, better things for our kids, probably better environmentally for our children as well.
Yeah, okay.
Okay? And
Boring.
sorry, we're adults.
These are politically correct
said it
answers. We don't want these answers, all right?
But why should they ban it? You go back to the question. If it's money, you don't have to buy it.
Mina, sorry,
It shouldn't be banned.
All right. That was a very close debate, I must admit.
One of the better ones, I must say.
Yes. You both did well. Both had really strong arguments. A lot of good counter arguments from Bo and Jeff. But unfortunately, we're going to be banning fireworks. The winners is Chris and Aaron.
Wow.
Well, I'm moving to Australia.
That's banned over there because of
Is
the
it
bushfires.
actually?
Yeah.
Oh,
the
yeah,
bushfires.
yeah.
Anti-fun. This is an anti-fun committee, including Matua Slopes.
Never in your life have you thought, I want to have fun. Let's go set some fireworks off. Like, never ever in your life have you thought of that.
But do you enjoy it?
Of course you do.
Nah, hey, yeah,
Kids
fireworks is-
enjoy it. Kids enjoy
fireworks is
it.
good fun. But for the sake of the argument, get rid of it.
No. Let the people choose. You can buy
Yeah.
it if you don't
You
want to buy
decide.
it.
You decide.
They waste
Yeah.
your money.
Let the people decide. Let it burn. All right. Next portion of our show is focused on a bit of a deeper dive into a discussion on a certain topic. And today we have, drum roll please.
Stop.
No.
Thank you.
What do you have, Bo?
Kate Sweet. We're gonna dive a little bit deeper today, in regards to what we've been talking about the last few weeks. Over maybe a week now, I've just been following the story on Kanye West, and it's very interesting, but it got me thinking about some of the more close to home issues that we face. Okay, I really wanted to bring cancel culture, and wanted to talk about cancel culture, but I was like, not yet.
Save
We're
that
not
for
quite
another day.
not quite ready. But I wanted to at a point in a few years back, Kanye West was labeled crazy.
He still is.
And yeah, he's still outrageous. At first, he was the crazy guy, and it started around Trump's campaign, and then when Kanye wore the hat, and then everyone was going crazy, and he was labeled as the guy who was crazy, and then he was portrayed as the crazy guy, but then became a billionaire, and then things started to change. Now he's saying some outrageous things, but it got me thinking about the way we are perceived, about the way that we portray ourselves, about the way that people interpret the way that we present ourselves, either in public, on social media. But I wanted to discuss and bring that to the table. I wanted to think about, we'll eventually get to it, but think about the dangers of the perception of oneself.
And also, like, not only people's perception of you, but your own perception of
Perception
yourself.
of
And how much that weighs in.
Yeah.
How much people's views or beliefs about you as a person, or how they see you, impact you as a
Yeah.
person.
That's good.
Your self-esteem, your confidence, your persona, per se, and how you interact with people, because it's all interlinked.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that. Firstly, I wanted to just kind of set the tone for things. But I want to know, what's your biggest flex? Yeah. What's your biggest flex? What's the one thing you're like, yeah, I did that, or like something that you did, or something that you have, and you look at it and you're like, man, I'm the man.
Jeff's 40 kg squat.
Talk to me. Talk to me.
Weird flex, but okay.
What's your greatest flex, Jeff?
My greatest flex. I'd say I have a bit of a fun one. I think I have two. One's fun and one's a little bit more serious.
Okay.
My fun flex is back in Rutherford when I went to Rutherford High. I played in the first 15. Shout out to Rutherford first 15.
Was it 2B? 2C?
It was actually 1C, all right? Leave me alone. We had a preseason game in my final year, year 13, and we versed a college, Christian college, out in the North Shore. And I think one of my flexes is I scored 6 tries in that game. And I still like hold on to that to this very day. I always remind myself, man, I scored 6 tries.
Is that a 1C record?
Is that the most?
It hasn't been beat until this day.
Look, that's probably is a 1C record. And then
6 tries.
6 tries in one game. That's come
Did
on,
you do
that's pretty
different-
hard to do.
Did you do different celebrations every try?
Did you get up and then
Sometimes I did the Superman, thinking I was the man.
did you get up and look around and no one was watching?
Nah, but that was like that's full credit to the boys. That wasn't
Hey.
that's
Yeah,
that wasn't my
credit.
own individual performance. It was the boys, all right.
Nice.
And I'd say my other flex, my more serious one is. It may not necessarily be a flex to you or to us or to you boys here, but I'd say a flex for me is skipping out on university and helping mum. Hey, that's a massive flex for me because I'm the oldest of 4 kids, and I always mention on this podcast here that mum is a solo mum of 4 kids.
My guy.
And man, I had ambitions of going to university, and that was something I really wanted to do. But growing up, I've seen the struggles of and that mum went through, and I'd say that's a flex for me is that I skipped out on what I wanted to do, and just pursued the helping out the family, going out that road, and yeah, to me, I hold on to that to this very day. Sometimes I think about it and I think about that journey, what would have happened if I went to university. But I'm so happy that I took the other road, and that I missed that part and just helped out mum, because I see where she is now. I see where the family is now. It's in so much better stead because of that.
That's a great flex. Well done,
I
Uso.
like that one.
That's a that's a.
Sorry to go a
great
little bit
flex.
serious on you guys, but
That's what it's about, eh?
Hard.
But the fact that you scored 6 tries, don't live that down. Don't
One-
ever live that
one
down.
C record, baby.
1C.
record.
Auckland 1C comp.
I
Wow.
guess, jumping off the back of Jeff's talk about his family, one of my greatest flexes, and the reason why this is so important to me is because it's not actually me, it's the people that are around me. And so I feel that I have one of the greatest support systems,
That's so good.
you know, that anyone could ask for. Like, not only my family, but my closest friends. I've just, and people I've met over the years. I've been able to create a really solid group of people around me that I really trust,
Yeah.
but that really hold me accountable to who I am, challenge me, and really help to grow me as an individual.
That's good.
So that's one of my biggest things. I'm like, I'm really happy with where I'm at in life, being able to create that network of people. Some you don't ask for, but they're just there. That's
Is
what
that
family is.
Just lingering about.
Is that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5?
But yeah, so that's definitely one of my flexes is that, you know, I have a solid group of people around me who I know I can depend on and rely on, in my time of need. And yeah, I'll stop there. We'll go. Yeah, I had another one. But
That's another great flex.
I'm just like Jeff. I've got two flexes.
Oh, another 1C.
No, it's not like that. Well, actually, that is one I've played with a few NRL players. But
Oh.
that's for another time. No, but one of them is
Name him.
Please don't bring it up.
one of them is so back in high school. In my last year of school, I was there was a play that went on. It was called West Side Story, and I didn't audition to do the role, and I didn't want to even be a part of it. And my music teacher came up to me and begged me to be in the show. This is no word of a lie.
No one else.
She was
Aaron,
like,
please.
Aaron, you've got the best voice in year 12. I was like, I already know that. She's like, I'm begging you, there's no one else
Can we get
can do it. Can you
She
please do
begged.
Can we get a sample?
Can we get a glimpse?
it? When you're a Jed, you're a Jed. And I played Riff, who's one of the main characters in West Side Story. And my second one is probably I just thought about it in the last like couple of minutes. It's one of my greatest flexes is being able to travel the world.
Yeah.
Seeing the world and seeing what life has to offer.
Yeah, that's
You
good.
know, going to one of the richest countries in Monaco and getting to go there and buy a water bottle because I couldn't afford anything else.
Man, I ain't shit.
I went there, wow, it's so nice and rich, but I couldn't buy anything.
You just go there and make you feel bad about yourself.
Took a couple of photos and that was it.
Yeah. I think
That's a cool one. I like that.
to be honest, I think they've all been modest. I'm gonna throw them under the bus. Okay, just this is my flex. These are the boys. Aaron, he's
got a PB of 210.
Got him. Nah, Aaron. If you don't know Aaron, he was on a weight loss journey, and his transformation speaks for itself. He'll play it down, and but when he's at work or when he's training, and when he's in the mindset of maybe it's cutting weight, he's a
fully
gun.
committed.
He's like
there.
he's a beast. Chris
No,
plays
it's not.
every instrument under the sun.
I
Okay,
know.
and he's so modest about it, and this is what annoys me so much because he's actually average at it.
Greatest triangle player you'll ever meet.
Yeah, he's so modest about. But I think that's one of his greatest.
Thanks, Luso. I
flexes.
like that one.
Yeah, he plays horns. He plays trumpet. He's okay on the keys. He's awesome on the keys. He makes his own music as well. So that's another flex in itself. But for me, honestly, my greatest flex, like listen for this one. I was undefeated and I am still reigning champ. I am still reigning champ
No.
of
Cut it
Royal
out.
Rumble shadow
Cut it
boxing.
out. Cut
Talk
it
to me.
Oh
No,
my
stop.
It's weird seeing all the kids play it now, eh?
I tell the kids all the time, like when we were playing like
Yeah.
12 years ago.
So long ago. eh?
Yeah, it was the ish. If you
Yeah.
don't know what we're talking about, the ish or the Royal Rumble.
Mm.
Yeah, I was undefeated goat.
Was he, guys?
Ask Aaron, ask Chris.
Stop.
Is this cap or?
This is cap.
Yeah, I thought
This
so.
is cap beyond the highest order of cap.
Look, he just gave you guys a
I know.
compliment, all right?
I just gave you.
I know. And I'll, you know.
Yeah, that's.
Paul
Also,
knows.
sorry, and I forgot to talk about Jeff. Jeff's he's a PT. He was our OG PT, and he doesn't talk about it, but he's quite the gym
Physical
or
specimen.
he's quite the training fanatic when he's in his groove and when he's encouraging us to train as well. So
Thanks,
he's
bro.
a low key PT. But my more serious flex is I didn't finish uni, or I eventually did, but I was halfway through finishing my degree, and then my partner, who now wife, was pregnant. And the journey after that was like, it was crazy.
Yeah.
And a whole lot of expectations was thrown my way, but also dealing with a lot of internal tension, contention, and that whole thing. But to come out, eventually finish up uni, now be married and have 3 wonderful kids and starting my own family. That's probably the greatest
and
flex.
what a period of growth that would have been for you, eh?
Ultimate growth, because you like we've talked about it quite a bit on the show. We used to catch up, the boys. 90 or 80% of my time spent was always with the boys, and then the growth from going to spending every day or most days with the boys, into having to think about, man, you're gonna be a dad, or you're gonna be a father, and you're gonna be responsible for a little human. And that'll be my greatest flex, because a lot of people said that it couldn't be done, or a lot of people said that you're gonna struggle, or you're gonna face a whole lot of trials and
provided it wasn't easy though, way.
No. It wouldn't
yeah,
have been
Like
easy.
it wasn't
struggle-
easy, but a lot of it I pay homage to my wife. And I think if she wasn't by my side, or if we didn't have a mutual like not agreement, but a mutual, and I'm like, this is the time when we have to actually switch and become adults. And actually, for her, she was younger than me, and she had just started her uni journey as well, so it was a little bit tough. But we've both graduated, we've both finished,
Let's go.
and that's my flex. Not to get a little bit,
That's a
not to
that's
get
a
serious.
good flex.
That's
Yeah,
sad.
not to get serious, but that's another passion of mine as well. I want to maybe do some stuff with young dads, teenage dads. Teenage pregnancy is a real thing. I saw culturally what it does to a young couple. I saw some of the expectations that family had, some of the challenges that you go through mentally, and then just with your relationship with your partner or your spouse. And that's something that I've always wanted to look further into and maybe spend some time helping others.
If
That's
you could
cool, bro.
pinpoint one thing, I mean, there's probably so much to unpack from that, but if you think about what's one of the greatest takeaways you have, or the greatest learnings that you've had coming out of that situation, having now gone through it, you know, weathered the storm, and now you're sitting on the other side, both of you and Dia, you know, graduated, you started your family, and you're really looking to new horizons. What's one of the greatest learnings you've?
It was you can't do it alone, and you can't do it if you're not on the same page with your partner. And I think your and another one was that your parents love you, okay, regardless of all the expectations and all the things that they want for you. At the end of the day, they actually truly love you, eh?
Yeah.
And they may have a weird way of showing it, but I didn't really understand.
Yeah.
Like I knew, but like the dynamics of Samoan families, and we understand the dynamics of a Samoan family, especially on her side of things, and trying to navigate through that. You can't do it alone. I think, and it was You just have to nice. Level with your spouse or your partner as well, and you have to just talk, like have these discussions. What is the best? What is of the best interest for us? What is the best thing for our families? What is the best thing for our child that we're bringing into this world? So that's
It sounds like it was communication, eh? That's the biggest thing that I take from what you were just saying there, Bo, is that communication with your family, with your partner, with your friends is so important into getting past the things that you're going through, eh?
And like Chris pointed out, your support system, eh?
Your support system matters
like,
a lot.
There's no way we could have done it without our support system. And
I learned that in saying that you have to actually have and be mature enough to understand that you have people around you that are willing to support you and to trust them.
100%.
I always thought for a long time that I was just the man. Like that, and the honest truth, I just thought, man, I'm sicky. You know? And my friends were going through stuff, and, you know, people around me like are dealing with things. And I was thinking, man, I don't go through that because I'm solid.
I'm solid.
And I put it down to myself, right? And as I've grown up, you know, and I've gotten older, I'm like, damn, I've missed this whole time that it was actually the people around me that had held me, you know, in place and kept me so
set
solid.
the environment for you, eh? To thrive in.
Yeah, and they play such a crucial, like with any challenge or tough time they go through, eh? And the people that are constantly there are the people that you don't have necessarily asked to be there. And like you realize how important their role is in anything that you do, and especially in your growth.
Going off what you were saying about, you know, that your parents love you, it can be shown in a different way. How typical is that of Samoan parents or Islander parents, eh? Because I'm sure like us, and hopefully one day we're all going to be fathers like Jeff and Bo and Mina. But, you know, like, you're looking at the way that you were parented and you think, oh, that's not how I would show, you know, or that's not how I would support. Like, I'll do it differently. But like just understanding the context of where your parents came from, how they were parented, and you know that goes back generations. So that's such a important thing to note as well, eh? And we talked about that whole thing of reflecting on where you are and where you're going.
That's a biggie too.
And so for you, now on this side of things, looking forward, you're reflecting on that and you're like, okay, if this ever happened to me or any one of my kids, like this is what I'll do differently, but this is what I'll take and apply.
That's good.
And that's, but man, like there's so many other people who out there, young people who probably go through the similar journey.
And I'm happy that you're like gonna like take on that little side project, or that's something that you want to do. Is help, you know, people who've gone through what you have gone through, and that's one of the things I'm proud of for you. Like I don't know what the stats are, you know, falling pregnant whilst doing your degree. I don't know how many people finish it and all this and that, but to see you finish that, and I remember the support system that you had with your mum, and also your aunties, all at home. And I was like, I was really happy. I was really proud of how you came out of that, and not only you but Dee as well.
Yeah, that's good, man.
Yeah, sure, those.
And what an exciting time to be in too. Hey, as we finish off COVID, I don't think it'll ever go away, but as we move past these things like the lockdowns and really moving into a new season of just back to normal life or whatever that means, hey, it's exciting to see what you can do in the new context of
the new space
and your new and your journey, moving forward.
And for me, I was never gonna bring this to the table, and I think I always wanted to. Yeah, that's my biggest story. That's my story basically.
Yeah.
Like anything that happened before that, rugby was good. Sports, school did quite well, and coming through and getting to uni, not the best, but that was the story. That one highlight. And then like Jeff, I was also raised by. I don't like the term single mother. I don't like the term solo mother because she wasn't doing it solo.
True.
She had a whole if
village,
it took a village to raise me, I honestly took an army to raise me. And she had the best possible
that's good.
support system for her, and she didn't necessarily do it solo. And that's another part of my story. But this end and coming out, that's my flex and
testimony right there, brother.
Yeah, that's my testimony. But I also want to add, as Aaron was talking about my support system, Aaron. Man, he came clutch a few times. There was a time where Danielle and I, my wife and I, we were off to see baby scan. Danielle had a scan, and our car broke down, and we were like, man. But this time, it was a bit tricky. We didn't want to involve family and stuff. I just called up Aaron. I was like, he had the car we called the Transformers, and honestly, it was like, bro,
R.I.P. Transformers,
R.I.P. Transformers. But I just messaged, I called Aaron. I was like, we need a car, and he's like, if you can train to my work, you can take the car, and then that's all we had to do. Like my pregnant wife, we had to train to Henderson. And Aaron was
support.
Aaron came through, and it's things like that, to make it to paint an example of that support system. That was that for Aaron, my guy.
Yeah, it's interesting. Just going off what you said about my now wife. So you weren't married. You're both. Are you still a teenager at this point?
I just turned
30.
I was still 20. So during 20, turning 21.
So you're still relatively young at this point. Was there at any point any worry from you about the way that people would perceive you as a young brown parent?
Man, it's the worst to be young brown Samoan and to fall pregnant out of wedlock, and then especially on the girls' side of things. Yeah. And I would love to get some of our young moms on the show and to talk about their experience, because it's actually there's a lot of trauma. Yep. There's a lot of trauma that's that maybe they still need to unpack, and also, but from our father's side of things, they're more disconnected because it's heavily on. Yeah. But the mental battle and some of the stuff that it's secondary to the girls. Challenges and stuff, but man, it was tough because there's Samoan parents and the expectation, and which we will talk about later, the expectations and the standards that obviously our parents set for our families. There's also the standards in the church and the things that you have to cope with within those spaces. A lot of light is shown on the men or on the male or on the fathers to be. So yeah,
it's good. Also,
yeah, you asked about the perception of male or Samoan male. My personal if I was to think about the whole situation that I went through, I now understand how tough it is. But if I was to give advice to any of our younger brothers coming up, I would maybe have a plan and actually, have a plan with your partner. Be open to anything, but try have not a written plan, but a set for the next maybe 5-10 years about what your relationship looks like and what your goals are individually, what you want to achieve before you get to any other, and take into consideration that the maybe the conceiving a child thing, because and don't avoid that discussion, because that doesn't help anyone. But in the wider context of things, it's tough. It's so tough. And I honestly think some of the expectations that are placed on us, especially in terms of relationships, is quite unfair. Sometimes just, though, because it's for protection and for the better, especially if we're talking about our sisters, or if there's a layer of protection around that. But the way that our young brothers are viewed aren't quite, or there's no real support, and there's no real, especially when now you're expecting a child, what that journey for the next 9 months looks like for you and maybe your family, and what maybe some of the steps that you could take. There's no real support, like unless you have a really good support system like I did. But I wanted to talk, before we get a little bit deeper about perception, what are your thoughts on the way we are perceived, or the way that we are viewed? Maybe it could be stereotypes of young Pacific males, and then maybe in light of situations like teen pregnancy. Like, what are your views on or perspective
When Pacific Islanders, or just whoever are raised up in broken homes, are raised up in single parent homes, or just homes that are dysfunctional, that when our male brothers, or our brothers go through, they grow up. What I'm trying to say is that, these our brothers are raised up in these environments, but then they're expected to do better than how they were raised up in a way. So I just think sometimes it's unfair that people look at somebody and be like, oh, they come from that specific environment, so how come they're not doing better for themselves? How come they're not succeeding? How come they're not thriving? And I sometimes I just have to take a step back myself and be like, man, they came from a broken home. They don't come from the best environment. So why should I expect, that guy or that dude or that man to thrive because he doesn't know any better? So I look at it from, man, I think sometimes it's entirely unfair that our brothers, when they come from broken backgrounds, that people expect them to thrive beyond what they were raised up in. And then that's kind of like what my perspective is on just the whole perception thing, is that some people are perceived a different way, but we don't know how that person grew up. We don't know how that person was raised.
And how they feel.
And
then when a situation like teen pregnancy comes along.
Yeah, and then that's where it goes back to the thing that you're saying about the support system, hey. I think we're blessed to be raised up in families that were there to support us, but there's so many other people out there that are not raised up in families that are supportive. So how can you thrive if you've got no support like how we've had it growing up?
And so whose responsibility is that?
In what?
The support system.
In what way? The support system.
Yeah, who's responsible to provide that for that person?
But that's the thing. Sometimes they don't have a support system. Sometimes they're completely left to face this whole situation by themselves, and that's what worries me. Hey, and
but then in saying that, there's also men out there who have great support systems, but that don't reach out to the support system as well.
Mm.
So it goes two ways. They're like it's either you have a great support system but you don't reach out to them, or you have none, but then how are you meant to thrive
Yeah.
under that as well?
And that whole reaching out thing really speaks to how
Exactly.
we as men view how we should behave as men. It might come across weak, it might come across as, oh, man, like to carry that and to take that. Because that, I think for a big part of being a man, the expectation is that you should carry that.
Yeah.
You should take that.
Yeah.
And for many of our Pasifika and Māori men as well, the impacts of having that expectation on them, right, after years and years and years, really weighs people down and impacts them so severely. And I'm talking more to their mental health, right? But then it starts to show itself through your physical health, right? And that whole idea of how we perceive males and how they should be, right? That's something that I'm really passionate about. And so that's something that it's, for me, being told that I have to meet this criteria in order to be a proper man.
Yeah.
Really bugs me. Okay. And then another side to that is the constant what do you call it, portrayal of men, Pasifika and Māori men,
Yeah.
in the media and throughout society. It's like I'm over the narrative of us being at the top of all the wrong stats.
Yeah.
I'm sick of us filling up the jails and having the most numbers in gangs, being overrepresented in the wrong places.
Yep.
I'm over that, but I'm even more over the fact that people think that that's just what we are.
Yeah, that's all of us there.
Mm.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? Like, kind of what you've said, I just thought about, and just the mental side of things and what you were talking about, and I haven't told anyone this, but I think I only told Jeff last week. It happened to me last Monday, and for the first time in my life, I went through a mental battle, like in my own. Sorry.
No, you're good.
I went
You're good,
through,
brother.
for the first time in my life, I felt like I was like alone, and that's legit. Sorry.
All right.
I took last week off. I took Monday off. Just had a day to myself. Yeah, and it kind of brings in like the whole perspective of being a man, being a man for your family, and that's like, and some of the battles that I was just thinking about, like on that the time that I had off, it's being an only child. I got a dad who's sick. So I'm responsible for all his appointments and everything. My mum, she's in Australia. I see her once a year.
Yeah.
My partner travels for a living, so I see her once every week. So, it just all started building up, and their hope, the perception, the assumption of we as men, we can
Carry it,
we
we
can
can
carry
handle
these things. It got to me last week.
Yeah.
I just needed to take. I took a day off work, and I sat in my own thoughts, and like I said, we got great support systems of our family, and obviously you guys, but I just felt alone.
Yeah.
It's the first time in my life I felt alone. I was like, and it's something that I don't know if I need to reach out to someone, or I got you guys here.
And it's real, it's a real thing. Like that, the feeling that Aaron's talking about, it's a real thing that we all as men have encountered in one form or another. And the hardest thing I think for men is because we've been told for a really long time that this is how you should behave.
Yep.
and this is what's expected of you.
Yeah.
You know, which is really sad.
Yeah.
And
Honestly,
then we
yeah.
get to, we get to a point where we're so isolated
Yeah.
that we feel that it's weak, or it's seen as not manly to reach out and ask for help.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to say, like, Aaron, like, got you, like always.
Yeah.
And if you ever, and sorry though, we didn't know.
Yeah.
And that's like, look, we're going through it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, honestly, thanks for your vulnerability also.
Yeah, man.
And
Just
like, yeah, I think that's what it goes back to, like what I was saying. We can have the best support systems, but sometimes it's hard to reach out
Yeah.
because we are, the perception of males or Pasifika and Māori men is that we're meant to carry that and not burden anybody else with it, and just carry that on our own. And I think this discussion that we've had tonight has been a good one. I mean, as I got to open up, we all got to open up about how we view perception, and this whole topic in itself as it's a serious topic to talk about, because our men do go through a lot of the stuff that we've been talking about, and it is very important to be vulnerable. And I hope, as are that, you don't view us as just friends you can have fun with or just do a podcast with, because I know that, because we can all be friends, but true friends are there for those who are vulnerable with them as well, not just there for the good times. And I hope that we can continue to create a friendship in an environment where people can come and be open, and we're not just here for the laughs or to do the podcast or to make TikTok videos, but we're here to support each other in our own growth as men as well.
And I said this before on the podcast. Also, as humans, we're not made to live in isolation and exist on our own.
Yeah.
And so I hope you just take that as encouragement to feel okay to reach out. And even if it's not to one of us, but it's really important to say something to someone if you're not feeling okay, because everyone has those days. As much as we don't like to say it, we all have those days when you wake up and you feel like crap and you don't even know why, right? It's not until you sit down and reflect on it and you realize, like, damn, I'm holding a lot.
Yeah.
I'm carrying a lot.
Yep.
Was it just the build up of everything and then just breaking point?
I've had the last couple of weeks. My dad's had a few appointments, and I know that I have to take time off work.
Yeah.
And, I gotta do that stuff for him, and it's just like knowing that I have family who can help out, but you don't want to burden them.
You don't want to burden
them. He's my dad. So it's just it all started like building up, and then I just like one day I just couldn't. I just felt
And man, that's for the people who say only children are spoiled brats. Honestly, you couldn't be more wrong. I'll tell you, like, you couldn't be more wrong. Like, there's so much that I don't want to say baggage, because there's like beauty and there's a whole lot of love that's shared. But man, like, I remember a few years back when I was still playing rugby, and I had the opportunity maybe to actually pursue professionally. Yeah. But I just, not the guilt, but I felt obliged to stay at home and look after mum and mum's parents and our family at home. And I've never been it was the best choice, because now that I am where I am, but that's the kind of, it's not a burden, but just the responsibilities that we have.
Sacrifices.
And it's just, it is. It's the sacrifices, and we pay. We thank our parents for all, but there's nothing that we can't do, or that I think we shouldn't do, to make sure that they're okay.
And there's someone watching this right now that is thinking, pursue your dreams, or go and live your life. Like,
go, actually go, but make sure don't leave the house or don't leave home and you know, leave a void at home that someone else has to fill. And make sure your house is in check.
Yeah.
Make sure everyone at home, because I know my older cousin used to talk to me about this. He played rugby, and was actually quite, for his, like in his era, in his time, he was doing well. But he never got the blessing from his parents because he was the black sheep, and he's still the black sheep of our family. But this was the one thing that he told me, and he was like, the reason why I wasn't successful in anything that I've done is because I just ran away, and I didn't get the blessing. And it wasn't like a blessing where you have a ceremony and they bless you and they're like, go forth and conquer. Nah, it was like he left, but his parents weren't quite, with him, and that weighed. And his reflection was like, don't, make sure you. But it could be different for you. It could be your circumstances will be different to mine. But that's my perspective. Take care of what's at home before you. It might be something. To be something, do something selfless, but.
And in your rugby career that you could have taken, it was the perception that I had growing up in Australia. I was a teenager in Australia, brown, Samoan, and the perception and the assumption was, oh, geez, you're a big fella. You must play rugby. You must be really good. You must be really good at rugby. And that was always like, oh, you must play rugby. You must want to play rugby, for a living. And if it wasn't that, it's automatically you're a big guy, so you're strong. Those were the two things.
Nah, you know what it was?
Little did they know he was a big guy and he was half spotty.
But that's a true thing. Like, you see someone big come to training and you're like, prop. Like, I want to be first five. I want to be a fullback.
I just want to say this trend of the prop that does cutout passes started from this guy who still wants to live his dream of being a first five. Hey, how many times, and you can Bo and Aaron can testify to this. Why the hell was I put in the shot put team in year 6? Because I was the only brown kid at my school.
Exactly.
I was the biggest kid in the.
That's perception,
shot
though,
put
right?
and discus.
We'll put in the power of NC. All of us.
That was
what's the
perception.
greatest? What's some of the worst stereotypes or assumptions or presumptions that people make of you?
Oh, I think the classic, because I'm half Asian, the classic is I can't drive. And as cliche as that is, that's a typical stereotype, of can't drive. Bro, I've got the safest driving here, all right?
Good thing you drive those small Honda Civic.
No, I think the classic Asian, you can't drive, or because you're Pacific Islander, it's hard for you to learn, or you learn a specific way, and then there's many different stereotypes growing up, but that's probably you can't drive one, so
Aaron.
Yeah, pretty much what I said before is
You're a big
I was a big bopper. I was supposed to play league, and I pretty much hung up the boots under 16s, under 18s, whatever it was.
Injuries are a real thing, though.
Injuries are a real thing.
And also, I got put into the shot put team at school just because of how I looked. For real. And I remember we got taken out. I think it was they call it inter-school. You go out and verse other schools at shot put. Yeah. But for me, to me, it was just a free day to get off.
100%.
And I went, and I honestly, I think I threw second last. I was like, holy heck, this you know what's got the spandex on.
You know what's crack up? The Islander guy walking up to the plate. They're like, bro, this guy's gonna be mean. Goes to throw it. Meow.
I think I just to save myself the shame, I would just step up to the plate and just drop it just for fun. And he's just mucking around, but really,
really, that's your actual.
Really, I don't want to try my hardest.
Bro, my parents were going to view a house one time, and my dad was like, "Come along." I'm like, "Oh, okay." And the building inspector was there, and he was inspecting the house, and he was like, "Oh yeah, this blah, blah, blah," talking trade stuff that I have no idea. Then looks at me and goes, "Son, what's your trade?" And I was like, "My guy." Have you seen how smooth my hands are?
Those hands have not touched any tools.
He goes, "What?" Like, and I was like, "Oh no." He's like, "What? Build up plumber?" I was like, "Silly." But that one's been a con. Like, and the other one I hate is when that's why I put my little West Side Samoan twang on. Is when I hate when people say, "Oh wow, you're very well spoken." It's like, listen, you old white lady.
That's a backhanded compliment.
Yeah, it
eh?
is. It was
That's
like,
a
you get,
backhand.
"Oh, very well spoken, young man." I was like, "Get out of here."
You don't see them saying that to
Nah.
the pasty, the pasty prince.
I hate that.
Yeah, but that's like interesting, and we all have stories. Like honestly, that like I wanted to be a first five. Nah, I actually like came to reality real quick when we played a game. And the first five at the time, skinny guy, go play first five because you're skinny. Kick the ball and it hit our number 8's back. I was like, nah, that's not for me.
That's not you.
But more, just to wrap it up, we talked about perception. We talked about some of our journeys and some of the things that we hate about what stereotypes and assumptions people have of us. What are the dangers? What are the dangers of perceived personalities or perception in general for our younger people now? Take into consideration social media, the like and follow culture, the presenting yourself as your best on social media as being the standard or being the best representation of yourself.
Yeah.
What are the dangers, and think about the times that we're in.
As someone, I think all of us can speak to this. As people who grew up without social media until we were maybe in our teens, that's when it became a real that's when we started getting into it. But before Instagram, before Twitter came along, and TikTok, gosh, showing our age here.
To forget TikTok.
But for us, I feel like it's been easier. Well, for me, I feel like it's been easier for me to identify without being told that social media is really like a highlight reel.
Yeah.
And because we see just the best versions of everyone all the time, I don't have that expectation of myself. Like, I look at all the Rocks videos and I like every single one. Never in my mind do I ever think that he's always like this and that I should look like this. You know? I've never gone through that. But that's as someone who's a bit older now. I know that there's danger in that our young people look at that and think that's what we should look like. If I want to be liked by people, if I want to be followed by people, that's what I should look like and that's what I should have. And that's where the danger is, because the expectation is unrealistic.
I think how I look at this specific question is, I think a danger is in comparison there. Just like what CK1 was saying, Instagram, TikTok, that's all highlight reel stuff. So that's going to show your best. And the kids growing up, the younger generation as well, they love to compare themselves to other people. And there's a quote that I've always held on to, and it's comparison is a thief of all joy. And I thoroughly believe it is, because once you start comparing yourself to another person, that's when you'll be like, nah, I need to buy those Yeezys so I can look cool like him, man. I need to wear this.
Is that why you have like 5 pairs?
This is why I'm bringing up the specific example. Or I gotta play that sport to be cool or to fit in. So like, I think the dangers of perception especially is the comparison that comes with it, because we can always, I think sometimes we might not know we're doing it, but we compare ourselves sometimes to somebody who's probably a little bit more successful than us, somebody who's got nicer cars or a house. But sometimes we don't know that we're actually doing that, eh?
Yeah.
And it's that comparison that's really dangerous, and that perception that comes with that, eh?
It's the internal comparisons that
Yeah.
kind of hit the most. Hey, like when people compare you to someone else, that's fine. But when you start doing that to
When
yourself,
you're doing it to yourself, eh? That's
Mm.
the thing that gets people.
yeah.
And that's why people look in the mirror, and see a completely different person to what they
Mm.
actually look like to other people, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you get these kids who think like, I'm not pretty enough,
Yeah.
I'm not good looking enough, whatever it is. And that, because that danger is that I need to uphold this image all the time
Yep.
in order to,
Mm.
and because what was that that documentary was the show on the social
Dilemma.
Oh, dilemma.
was it
Yeah.
on
Social
Netflix?
dilemma.
Yeah. Social dilemma.
Hey, that same thing that hit that kids get, or that people get,
Yeah.
not just
Yeah.
kids. Like we get it too. Like, oh man, got a like, or
That dopamine, eh?
yeah, the dopamine that you get
Yeah.
from that, and in order for them to attain that is to look like,
Yep.
whoever the most popular person is on
Mm.
online.
As
Yeah.
well.
Just on the other side of the danger board of social media and how like it shows, like you were saying, the glamour side of things. And I look at just recently of the last 2 years, groups like 1-4 and what
Yeah.
and what how heavily influential they've been on
Yeah.
our kids growing up.
Yeah, yeah.
Everyone's wearing TNs and bum bags and carrying a knife.
Yeah.
Those things, those are the dangers to me. That's like
Mm.
it's not good.
It's just
'cause
no good.
It's the image, eh?
Yeah,
It's the image.
That's what I'm
image,
trying to get
yeah.
at.
Yeah, and it's not just like 1-4
It's
and who else? HP Boys
HP
and
Boys.
the League Boys are doing it too.
Yeah.
And I get the culture side of things and to celebrate the art and the music, but I get what you mean when you say when the young kids start starting up a ruckus over
Yeah.
who's
Area codes.
Area
codes
codes, oh.
and
Don't get me started.
and that stuff.
Mm. That's good.
That's when it starts getting dangerous. But for me, it's a whole your image, the way that you're perceived, and the way that you feel about it is very important, especially when you encounter things like social media, but also as with your self-esteem as a person
Yeah.
out in general public,
Yeah.
or don't let the way people perceive you
Yep.
determine how you feel.
That's
That's
good.
my.
That's
I've
good.
only just started
Yeah.
coming to terms with that.
It's that classic thing, eh? Don't care about what other people think about you.
Mm.
And like that's so much easier said than done. But
said
like,
than done.
I mean, if we're learning that right now at our age, I can't imagine what the younger generation are going through when it comes to that, eh?
because we didn't have phones till we were like
Yeah.
leaving high school. Kids have phones
Mm.
at year 9 now, so it's changed a whole lot. But if it's introduced a whole different set of challenges too. But that's our deep dive for today. I'll leave you with this. What's to wrap everything around? What's the one thing you want to be known as? Or what's the one, if they were to think of Jeff Maple, Aaron Bongi, and Chris Thomas Stevenson, what is the one thing you want people to know about you?
That I care.
Oh, yeah.
Ezra?
Like to me, I hope I am a product of my mum and dad, and to me they are the biggest givers. So I hope when
Yeah.
people see me, they
Literally.
think he's someone who gives with everything he has,
Yeah.
whether it's to others or just gives 100 in everything he does.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's good.
That's one. Yeah.
I think I just want people to look at me as somebody who loves people, who loves people.
Like a lover of people.
Yeah, like a lover of people.
We call that Swayze.
We call that dodgy.
It's a cliche answer, but everyone that I come across, I want them to know that, they're not just somebody randomly. That there's somebody that actually cares for them and that actually loves them for who they are and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope that people just see me as someone who is passionate.
Mm.
Okay. I think,
Passion.
yeah, passion. You like that one? There's too many people in this world that are not passionate about anything.
True.
Those people are hard to get up and out of bed in the morning.
Mm.
Find something that you're passionate about.
Mm,
Go and
I
do
like
it.
that.
And I hope that people look at me and say, well, that guy's passionate, even if you don't agree with what I do.
Yeah.
You
I
know? You might not agree with what I say or think, but you can see that I'm passionate about it and I believe in it enough
Yep.
to stick by it and apply it, you know? And I think the more people that we have like that, make the world a better place.
I think so too. For me, that I'm just chilled. Like
Aren't you already like that?
I won't. Yeah, like this. I am as I am.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. I won't. But when it gets to in the time when I need to be serious and when you need to get down to it, that's me.
Yeah.
Like I'll laugh, have a good laugh, and muck around. But then when it's time to work, it's time to work all minutes.
You are the kind of kids in high school that used to piss me off. Like my friends, like Eric, he would muck around in class and then came to the test, he'll get an A, and I'm like,
That's like,
Bro, that's facts.
Sounds like you.
That's facts. But yeah. Shout out to all our teen mums and teen dads. Stay tuned for some more content for you.
Yeah, and I think it's important to note that, you know, if you're going through something, say something, eh?
Yep.
And I guess, well, and as a,
Can you say that again?
if you're going through
something,
say
say
something. Reach out to someone. As always, hit us in our DMs. We ain't lying. We'll respond. There's someone on the other end. His name's Mina. Slips. AKA Matua Slips. There's also some links in the description below. If you are going through anything, need any support, do reach out. Fellas,
Hello.
another one in the bag.
Great episode, I must say. Great episode.
Kia ora.
Kia ora.
Yeah, outside, get this, I stay on my grind.